to pray. There's no angels where I go, only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Kirosho here. Now, whenever we last left off, Deku, he had just been in a bit of an accident. There is something going on with his body. Something that All For One is not really too sure about, since he doesn't believe he's ever seen this happen before. Or heard of an instance like this before. It may have happened before, but he's not too sure. All he knows is that apparently this enhancement quirk, or the durability quirk Deku has, is a bit more odd. Apparently, whenever Deku hardens his body to certain elements, his skin isn't the only thing that hardens. His entire body, from his blood to his bones to his skin and flesh, everything gets put to the point of the element he uses. That would not be very odd if it weren't for the fact that Deku has currently turned himself into a puddle. All For One had to take him back to the bar, and he currently has Midoriya floating in the air, as he is trying to regenerate and reform. Now, the reason why Midoriya is having so much trouble is because titanium, unlike other metals, it can get very, very hot. It can withstand quite a lot of heat. And whenever it does get hot, it usually would take a while for it to cool down. However, Deku is superheated, and his power absorption, or the other half of his hardening quirk, or the Kevin quirk as I call it, is trying to at least hold on to this power. Now, what I mean by that was, whenever Deku got blasted upwards into the air, and Endeavor let loose, Deku's body tried to take on this power and absorb it, since he does not have his fire quirk anymore. So instead of him being able to hold on to this power or use it himself, he basically conducted himself as if you were to put electricity through a piece of metal, and bring another one close by. Deku's body is cycling the power through and trying to at least get a flow. The problem being that Deku does not have an outlet for his power, and trying to reform and even use it is beginning to get more and more difficult. Now, along with that, everyone would have gotten back to the bar. This is after Mirio has taken down Muscular, and they were all able to retreat. Now, everyone is back at the bar, and they are actually seeing this floating pile of goo, or metal, whatever it is. People somewhat questioning it before All For One just trying to explain the fight with Endeavor. Dabi and Todoroki at least wanting to hear this, so they would have sat down. All For One basically explained that Endeavor is still alive. However, they almost took him down, even though they were trying to toy with the hero. I did get to stretch my abilities a bit more, though, along with the fact that apparently we learned something new about Midoriya's quirk that was previously unknown. Now, I didn't believe I had to do this, but apparently I will need to, as the girls are at least just sitting down waiting for an explanation, wanting to hear if Midoriya is going to be okay, after hearing that this was him. Now, this is where All For One just explained that he is going to have a specialized mission for all of them. He was going to send a man to do it himself, but he believes that this will be more interesting with you. Now, I believe you all know about David's shield, correct? Everyone just looking in All For One's direction, not really saying a word. Before, let's say, Momo at least does jump up, saying that David Shield was a very bright-minded individual, and he's been researching and leading development in QuarkTech for years. All for one just saying yes, yes he has. Now, I believe if anyone can find out what is wrong with my son, it would be him. So, instead of sending that man, I believe I can send you. All of you. Now, along with that, I do believe, as he would hold his hand out to someone. He's basically extending it out to them, saying that whoever believes that they should lead the mission, step forward. No one really doing anything. Until Sayako, she would have gotten up and walk up to All for One. Him explaining that she is a good friend of his son, and if he would have chosen anyone, she would have been a good choice. At least one of his 3 candidates. Her somewhat just nodding while not saying anything. This guy is pretty scary, and the fact that he's being more serious now proves it. If this guy believes that he needs to get serious about something, then that means he clearly is going to go on a warpath. Now, this is whenever he would just grab her hand and give her some quark. Now, it is somewhat of a mental exercise, along with physically. You're stretching your body's physical limits, along with parts of your mental capabilities with your quarks. He handed over at least 2 or 3 that he believed would be useful to her. He handed over, a brainwashing quark and a telepathy quark, along with telekinesis. Now, let's actually put that up to 5, and say he also did hand her a persuasion quark. Something similar to what Deku is able to do with Overclock. Along with her superintelligence, she'd be able to mimic Deku's Overclock by being able to see these changes in a person's expression, picking up on them and actually being able to persuade them more. All for once explaining that this is going to be a big challenge, and if she is going to be leading it, then be ready. In fact, I believe that the pro heroes will be heading there soon, along with Night Eye's successor. I do believe I've heard that he already has tickets. At least Night Eye does. Meaning that he has something. I would not expect a pro hero, let alone All Might's successor, to leave the city. He would stay and fight, stand for what he believes in. That is the type of person All Might would find. I know that. I've dealt with this petty quirk long enough to know this. Besides, as he would just look towards her, saying that David Shield has something on that island that I want. I was going to send someone there already, but you will all be fine. Now, as he would just motion to Midoriya, telling her to use telekinesis. She understands how it works, correct? Her trying to think about this and use the quirk. She is beginning to raise Midoriya off the ground, and at least try and get him to be better. Reforming him is going to be a big challenge, along with more and more things. So, exactly how will this work? Her at least thinking. She has the power behind herself now. So, she can help Midoriya, then probably leave. But even then, no wait. Her just thinking for a second. She actually cares about Midoriya, so why would she leave? somewhat confusing herself. She's trying to think logically, but she can't. Why is that? That doesn't make sense. Her finally at least snapping out of it. And everyone leaving. Now, they would have found a container to put Midoriya in. The doctor having a, well, let's just say an aquarium, like for fish. Because I think that would be the only thing big enough to hold Midoriya. Since especially he's a liquid, and holding him with telekinesis is going to get exhausting. So, everyone will be holding the. This is where Kirishima and Todoroki will be the ones carrying out the container. And, well, they would get Midoriya put up on a plane. After Momo talked to her father. Him being a bit more surprised to see her. After not hearing from her for so long. And at least being happy and excited to hear back. Talking with her and asking her questions. Along with her asking about his business. And if the new quirk has been working well. Him somewhat freezing. And saying that it actually has. But still, I'm not too certain about funding this villains. Dad, we're not villains. We're our own heroes. You'll see after this is all over. But for right now, we're heading somewhere, so thank you for at least sending this out for us. You don't have to thank me. I would still help you anytime you needed it. You are my daughter. We are family. Just please be careful. I don't want you to get hurt or, well, something worse. I understand, Dad. But still. You didn't have to and you still did. So thank you. As Momo would hang up the phone. And at least think about this for a minute. When this is all over. Okay, perfect. Her just leaning her head backwards and talking with everyone else. As they're hearing more and more things about David Shield. Sayako and Telly, she's actually been researching him in the amount of time they've been on the plane. Learning more and more about this. Along with the fact that they aren't going to be landing on the island. Not legally, in fact. They need to at least make sure to get close by. And things will be okay from there. This means that they would need to get the passes, apartments and stuff like that, and come into the park. So they would have to wear disguises and come in. Things aren't all that weird until Sayako and Telly, she would find that someone is questioning this jar of liquid. Especially because Deku has been motionless for quite a bit of time. Anytime you do see movement, it's usually because Deku is, well, reacting to something. Outside stimuli. One of the men actually wanting to dip their hand in the tank and see what's going on. Since it is considered to be a liquid. Now, Sayako would basically explain that he cannot touch that. That is a science experiment. If he touches it, then enjoy not having that hand anymore. The man being confused and thinking that he's being threatened. Before she would explain that those are nanites, and those are made specifically to cure something. However, they need to be recoded. I was hoping Mr. Shield could help us with that. Her brainwashing the staff, without really realizing it. Before they would have let her through. Everyone's somewhat telling her that that was at least a good job. Now, after they let her through, they would have been a bit confused. Since they only remember her saying that, then, well, being rushed through. Two other guests. Now, this is where Melissa Shield would greet her visitors. She knows that they are special, thinking that this is about the successor to All Might. Being confused whenever, this group of people is here. Okay, well. Her at least walking up and introducing herself, asking questions about what is in that container. Before one thing would have happened, Sayako would do one thing, pulling out a pen and actually tapping on the glass. Melissa confused. One thing happening. As soon as the tapping is done, a large piece of metal would have actually slammed against the glass, and at least try and form a hand, before it would have slowly turned back down, melting back into a liquid. Melissa's eyes widening as she's confused about this. This has caught her attention. In fact, what is this? Well, we are hoping that you can help us with the project. I believe it would be very, very good for you and beneficial. In fact, as she would walk forwards, and try and at least use his persuasion quirk, saying that their little project is something quite special. And we know something about your father. Melissa's shield. Melissa being taken aback, and actually, thinking that they're threatening her. Saying that this is not the place for that. She can call security. Sayako just saying that she can call security. That's fine. But whatever she does, she needs to be careful. Otherwise, they'll leak the information they have on her father about illegal quirk technology. Melissa actually having her eyes widen, not really sure what they're talking about, saying that he doesn't do that. Everything he makes is legal, 100%. Sayako picking up on her little, pause, and certain other characters about the way she was moving and talking when she said that. She actually began to twiddle her thumbs, along with a part of her eyebrow at least raising and moving, along with a small twitch in her left eye. So, perfect. She's unsure about that. Her just stating that might be true. Or at least what you think. We have information that says otherwise. You haven't noticed your dad being a bit more off, or at least isolating himself away from you, have you? Melissa's just thinking that that's not true. He's been gone for, 2-3 days? Yeah, but even then, that's not a lot of time. So, he hasn't gone missing or anything? Because information says that he had that thing stolen not too long ago from the board. And whenever he got it back, he locked it away somewhere. Do you not know where that would be? It's quite the odd thing. Besides, if you help us, we can give you something that you would not believe. Melissa's eyes, at least widening, a bit confused, and a little curious. Something she wouldn't believe. What does that mean? As Sayako was just gone saying that they are with, a powerful ally. In fact, as she would walk forwards, saying that he can give and take quirks, directly standing in front of Melissa. The two staring each other down. As she would just say that if Melissa helps them, then they can take or give her a quirk, any of her choosing. Besides, the thing in the tank is what we need your dad to work on. Melissa looking back at it, asking if it's really nanites, or even programmable tech like she heard the security call it. No. In fact, the truth is, this is our boss. Her just staring back at it. Before thinking. On the news she heard about a villain attacking Endeavor and Hawk. And from what she saw, the only thing they saw was a bright red thing stepping around or trying to. It was screaming and in pain, clearly. Is this that villain that attacked the heroes? Villain. We don't really like that word. It's not very us. In fact, this is our friend, our boss. And, well, as some more people would step up. Jiro, Ochako, Mina, and, well, other people. Them all stepping forwards, saying that this is their friend. They will kindly take a bullet for him. He's helped them through a lot, and has given us confidence in ourselves. So, help him, and we'll take that Quark Tech off your hands. Especially since we're already replacing something that was supposed to happen. Our boss was going to send someone loud and proud to take it, blowing the whistle on your father. Instead, he's sending us. So, help us, hand over the technology, and it would be like we're never even here. Your father won't be connected to that tech, and our friend will be safe. I consider that to be a win-win, don't you? Melissa, at least thinking about this more. That sounds fair, but even then, that's her just taking a deep breath. As security would walk up and ask if there was a problem. Since they've been talking like this, and they noticed that she seemed a bit irritated or intimidated by this presence of these guests. Melissa's saying that no, they're fine. In fact, they've just been talking and she was caught a bit off guard by some of the things they've discovered or seen in their time, looking back at them, thinking, if this is really true, then she has to... Okay, well, follow me then. Melissa walking them through the park. Instead of giving a good tour or a good brush tour, things would be a bit different. She's fast walking, basically leading them directly toward the research lab, where David's shield would be. Now, David's shield is a bit surprised and confused by the presence of these visitors. They don't seem to be his regular associates or people he's worked with before. They're brand new. Actually asking them what they're doing here. Before, Melissa would have closed the door and look around. The visitors saying that they're here because of their boss. And in fact, you wouldn't believe what we know. David's shield. Your Quark Tech is illegal. Him somewhat getting taken aback. Trying to at least stay calm. Sayako noticing that inside of his head he's screaming. He's at least trying to keep composure, asking them what they're talking about. He doesn't make that type of stuff. That's illegal. And if he ever did, he wouldn't try and, hand it into the wrong hands. Them saying that they know. That's why they're here. So, what you're going to do now is hand over the technology and help fix this person. The tank saw being put up into the air and flown over to David. Him confused and actually looking at it, seeing exactly what is inside, along with it actually being opened. As soon as it's opened, Deku would have sent himself flying out of it and try and reform more. David being completely in shock and fear at what is happening. Whenever Deku does at least form some of his body, before falling once again, and beginning to do what he did during the fight with the villains. Before he would have been able to at least make a mouth and scream out some words. Fix me. Before falling to a puddle once more, and trying to repeat this process. David just looking over to them, and seeing the problem. He needs to do research and, at least blood samples? He's not too sure. They need to at least give him some time, and a couple days would probably be worth it. Zako walking directly over to David, along with a couple of the girls, saying that they understand. But do know one thing. I am able to see inside of your head. And if you even think about calling heroes, then I will destroy everything you've created. Along with that, as she would just look over to Midoriya, very worried. A lot of the girls are, and David does at least pick up on that, asking exactly what is this boy's quirk. Now, Momo would just correct him, saying quirks. In fact, they all have multiple quirks. David's eyes widening, before realizing exactly what these people might be linked to. Before, Zako would just say that that boy that is currently suffering, he has almost 20 to around 30 quirks. I think I know that which one is keeping him alive. He has a super regeneration. So, that's at least doing its job. However, from at least thinking, I'm fairly certain that the titanium he's made out of, her somewhat starting to ramble off, as David would at least notice this, saying that if she is going to help him fix Midoriya, then they'll at least let her keep an eye on him. And if my daughter can help me, then that will at least show that I'm trustworthy, right? Just don't hurt anyone in the park. And try and lay low for a couple days, please. David just rubbing his eyes and thinking, this is going to be annoying. But exactly one question. This boy killed All Might, right? Yes, he did. Although he's been through a lot worse. And as David would just say, that still doesn't give him the right. Kill my friend, then come here and ask me to fix him? The man who did it? Still, I'm not too sure why. As someone would just speak up, saying that their boss was already sending someone here to do this. So, the alternative to a stealth mission would probably get you put in jail. Now, fix him and then we can talk properly. Now, David is at least a bit more taken aback and confused. Exactly how is he supposed to fix this mess? If he doesn't, then they'll probably kill him. And his daughter. Shit. David at least thinking. He can do this, but the alternative is going to be a bit pricey. Him at least thinking. The villains have plenty of funds, and lately his investors are getting a bit more stingy with them, since creating more and more quirk tech is getting more difficult. Along with the fact that the legal things behind certain technologies is either patented or banned from being used. So there's not very much room for expansion. Now, with that being said, someone else is actually at the park. And they are pissed off. They got screwed out of a payday. So, what better thing to do than take the technology for themselves, with their own little force. Now, I do hope you guys enjoyed the video and have an amazing day. I will catch you guys in the next part.